Hey peeps, it's Tripl-L, and today I'm here to talk to you about Bleach, chapter 683, The Dark Side of Two World Ends. And let me tell you peeps, it was a fun chapter. It's a pretty simple Bleach chapter, pretty above, is it above average? Yeah, Aizen being there makes it a slightly above average chapter. But yeah, it's a fun chapter. Aizen is pretty much the best guy in this chapter, as he goes to prove that even he can fool a god, and his trick was pretty good. So this whole chapter is pretty much revolving, or rather the climactic ending of this chapter is pretty much all thanks to Aizen. Ichigo would have been destroyed if had Aizen not been there, because Aizen showed that he had the powers to fool Almighty. So now we have to really wonder, is the slash that Ichigo gave at the end gonna be the thing that really just ends the fight? Probably not, because we haven't seen Uryu show up. So Aizen probably still has to put in some work. The poor boy has a hole blasted through his chest though, just like a hollow. Man, that was just hollow style with Yohawak making a hole in Ichigo Aizen's chest. That was that's what I thought it was ironic. I thought it just reminded me of the hollows. Anyway, let's actually talk about things that happened before the climactic moment, because I thought it was pretty vicious how Yuhabak was just pretty much just slashing people's arms off. I mean, it's one thing for him to always be shattering blades, and he's been doing it. He destroyed Renji's blade, destroyed fake Ichigo's blade, cracked Aizen's blade, but then actually seeing him lob off limbs, that was pretty drastic. He's living up to his promises, living up to his threats. It's cool seeing him, and I just love his taunting game. Him taunting Aizen for saving Renji was also pretty interesting, saying, why would he go and save Renji of all people? Why would he of all people save Renji? I think it's really interesting. I think he underestimates how much of a nice guy Aizen might be. And Aizen is not a very nice guy. He's an egotistical maniac, okay? Like, a lot of his behavior is really coming from the fact that he's an egotistical maniac. But at the end of the day, when you look at Aizen, some of his dialogues and some of his actions are kind of hard to interpret. For instance, earlier in the Thousand Year Blood War, we had an instance where Aizen seemed like he was kind of lamenting the fact that they thought he would try to kill Kiraku, or the central people thought that he would try to kill Kiraku. There's a lot of these little instances where it really makes it seem like Aizen really would try not to, or rather, like, his goal isn't to kill his Shinigami allies. It's just if they happen to be there, he will take advantage of it. Because, like, then you look at what he did to the visor, and that's a pretty scummy thing. That's probably like one of the worst things that he could have done. But then you look at other things, and he didn't really kill any Shinigami by his own hands during the fake Karakura Town arc. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Aizen's tough to place, because especially now during this arc, he's been tough to place. We know he has a definite issue with the Soul King, but I don't think he's that antagonistic towards the Shinigami. I think it's more of a thing where, he probably doesn't want to particularly kill them, but if they get in the way of him dealing with the Soul King, then it's just kind of gonna happen. Aizen's always been a mysterious character, so I'm not surprised that Yuhabak cannot actually figure out what's making Aizen tick. And I think that's fine, because overall that deceptive nature of Aizen is what causes Yuhabak so much problems. Aizen's caused him problems from the get-go. He's messed with him during the first invasion, and he continues to mess with him now. And seeing the switcheroo he pulls to get Ichigo to land that one hit was pretty epic awesome. I thought that was a really powerful moment. And it's cool to see Aizen teaming up with Ichigo. I also want to say Aizen's design, the costume, the black garb, it's cool. It's a really nice, sleek looking design. I'm pretty happy to see it. Now let's see, what else can we talk about here? There was the little segment at the beginning with Yuak pretty much taunting Ichigo about why didn't he get healed. And I think, yeah, you know what? He pointed it out, something pretty relevant. I mean, I think Ichigo could have afforded like 10 seconds to get his damage rejected instead of just going gung-ho, running towards him while he's still bleeding. I think, Ichigo showed up with a big disadvantage, and so did Renji. And now Renji lost an arm, so that was unfortunate. Poor guy. I just wish that the characters weren't being nullified so quickly, but thankfully with Aizen there, they have a bit more of a shot. But now we have to really wonder if Aizen's gonna die, because he does have that hole in his chest. Overall though, like, it's a fun chapter to read and go through. Oh, I also think it's funny. This is something completely different. Manga Stream put up a recent little blog post where they talked about their translation process, and I just like the part where they said that Bleach has below average amount of text, so it's the easiest one for them to put out fast. I just thought, yeah, that's Bleach. That's what Bleach is about. It's a pretty simple manga, and it doesn't have that much dialogue when it comes down to it. Nuwak's probably the most talkative character of them all. But yeah, peeps, I like this chapter. I really did. It was a fun chapter. I do think that moment when it looked like Ichigo got stabbed, and then at the bottom you see that Aizen was saying, "Oh, what did he say? Did he say I see?" And him telling Nuwak that he thought he was looking at Ichigo. That was the great switcheroo, man. That's probably the standout moment for this chapter. Yeah. Otherwise, I think that's it for me. It's really, we don't know what's gonna happen to Nuwak till next week, because it's Bleach. You get that climactic moment where it looks like Ichigo just landed a hit, but next week we might find out it's totally nullified. So that'll be next week. We'll say whether or not this was a worthwhile tactic. I hope Aizen isn't going down, because I like having Aizen around. Anyway, peeps, let me know what you thought of this chapter, and I guess till next time, have a good day.